hertz, but like 528 is a good one.
Yeah, I never thought about 525 either.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So,
play with that.
but when you put the two 525 and 528, it's
welcome.
It gets a wobble, I bet.
it's a wobble. It's
Yeah.
a wobble.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? 432 and what?
If you do like 432 and 528,
Oh, okay.
those two might harmonize together.
Okay.
Because they're both sacred frequencies.
Yeah.
And then like the 525 is just like it's not in a natural harmonic resonance.
Right.
So it has a distortion in the geometric pattern in the field.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. That is. Thinking everybody is outside enjoying the sunshine, but we don't get the Wi-Fi out there.
I got a medical appointment, so can't stay.
Okay.
It wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't noisy by the
I know. I know. Yeah, so I feel like everybody's just gonna come in here really late. So we'll just energetically hold the space for them and it'll be all good. So yeah.
I mean, when I saw that, I made my apartment dark. And I was really, it wasn't creepy, but I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And this guy was even telling you where the vortex was from.
Uh-huh.
And I was just either making it a little loud. I didn't know that the computer was spitting it out so loud that my ears were ringing. And I'm just saying it because it wasn't loud, but that hurts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and that's what the tone generator said. Beware of the volume that you set to listen on these hertzes because it was not the whole spectrum, but a big spectrum.
Yeah.
You can select from.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting just talking about like portals and energy and the fact that I wore a shirt I think it says "Be Here Now." Yeah. And it's like, if all timelines are existing at the same time, then what would stop us from going from one to another?
Yeah.
It's literally just because it's all energy. It would just be a different wavelength, a different sound wave or a different light wave that would be able to carry us or create a portal,
And that was the Nikola Tesla saying everything vibrations and frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
So they said in Nikola Tesla's main time of his life, he saw past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because, I think that we can see the past, present, and future when we go into meditation. We can see it in our mind's eye, and to be able to create something where we can see it with our human eyes, it's a whole other ball game. Because then it's like a TV.
Yeah.
Like a TV screen. We're like, oh, I can see that.
I kept playing that video over and over, trying to catch what he started. And I saw what he started because at the very first of the video, he just went back to 525, but at the very first, it said it was 528.
Mm-hmm.
And he was using the same laptop, just different tabs
Mm.
starting to play. But I didn't know, like I said, what the slit was from the light source on the bed. Because when he had the slit, he was saying, he says, do you see this? Do you see that light source? And then he went to his computer real quick to play 525, and all of a sudden, it started expanding.
Yeah, I don't know what that light source, if he had put it there, and if so, what it would be. Yeah.
Why can't they explain everything?
I know. Because then we would be doing it ourselves.
Right.
Like, dang it.
Yeah, right. That way you wouldn't have to go travel to Latin America. You
Right?
can do it yourself.
Just do it. I know. Just like, how fun would that be to travel like that? Not have to worry about airplanes, cars, all the things.
Back to the Future. And I've tried to tell people, I said, when you see Hollywood with these things like Back to the Future, I said, they've probably got that down pat.
Right? Oh yeah. If they're showing it.
If they're showing that to you, and on top of that, I says, look up experiments they've had like around Nikola Tesla time, like the Philadelphia experiment. Now that's one that nobody wants to talk about, and they don't want to tell you any facts about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of bonkers, and we put so many limitations on our bodies, like that our bodies can't do this, that, and the other, and it's like it really can. Oh, hi, welcome. Yeah, it started. It started like 5 minutes ago. Yeah. So I'm doing well. How are you? It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
The big storm yesterday.
It was.
I was thinking there might have been a rainbow, but I didn't see one.
I just looked at my phone. Oh, nothing's going to happen. It's 30% chance. And then all of a sudden, the wind started happening. And then all of a sudden, lightning and thunderstorms started happening. I said, this is more than 30% chance.
Yeah. It was interesting. I forgot an errand that I needed to run yesterday, and I only had a certain window. And when I left, I was driving up Central toward the city, and there was this like big black cloud, and it came down to a V over the buildings uptown. And because I grew up in the Midwest, like tornadoes were the thing, right? And I was like, well, that looks like that could be a tornado. I knew it wasn't because there was no movement in the clouds, but it had the shape, and I was like, that's interesting. So anyway, so I went and I had to be in the bank. So I was in the bank, and then I was like signing a thing or whatever, and it was like the thunder and lightning hit at the same time, and it was like downpour, and it was bonkers. And then when I left, I didn't want to mess up my shoes, so I ran out to the car barefoot.
Well, at least you was grounded.
It was great. It was great. I was like, kids know what they're doing. You know, like they'll go out there and they'll play in the rain. You know, in the mud, in the rain, like they don't care. They're out there playing, you know. And so many times in my life where I'm like, no, dodge the rain. I don't want to get wet. I don't want to get messed up.
Don't care.
Yeah. I mean, granted, because I washed my hair today, I totally would do that because I don't want to do it again. These are the things.
Did you experiment tornadoes or hurricanes or whatever?
Yeah, more tornado activity. There would be a lot of tornado warnings. And we lived in a bi-level house. So when you walked in, you either go up or down. And so if a tornado warning, if the sirens went, I'd go into the closet under the stairs and then like kind of go basically underneath that foyer little pad right there and just sit there with the sump pump.
So they did have actually sound warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they would send us, hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Welcome.
This is Earth.
This is Earth.
Okay.
We are still on planet Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, this is body, mind, spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Jane. How are you?
I'm fine.
Awesome. I think a lot of people are outside hanging out. And so,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Make
just
it,
Did you sign in at the
I did. I'm at the back of it's full, so I turned around. So I'm
okay,
there.
cool. There was also another sign-in sheet to the left of that. Yeah, make sure that y'all sign that one as well. That's for this class.
Oh,
Yeah.
I signed in two this morning, so
Per-
there's another one.
Yeah, the one that they're getting ready to sign, you'll want to sign that because that's for this class.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay. Everybody just left to go sign in. It's a very interesting day. How you doing? I feel like time is slowing down, getting chill, getting relaxed.
Yeah, we used to have a sound on top of a big gigantic sound siren kind of thing that they tested once a month, maybe.
Yep. I can see that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, would you slide that to me? I'm curious. I would like to see that. Thanks. What is this? June? Yep. June. June it is. June it is. All right. What's the Aruba effect?
We've been discussing like poems,
Oh,
how to express yourself, kind of thing.
oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass right
Fantastic.
now. Do you need me to copy? Okay, how long is this class?
It'll end in about 35 minutes.
Okay, it'll end in 35 minutes.
Okay, then we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you. There's a guy. Sorry about
It's
that.
okay. If we can make sure our phones are on silent, that would be great.
You're just gonna sign in your attendance class.
I did, thank
She
you.
signed it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
So sorry.
Amy.
Sorry, Amy.
Thank
Everybody
you.
signed it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is everybody
Yeah,
else hanging
doing
out
her-
outside?
Her just jubilant job.
All right. So I'm Jane, and this is Body, Mind, Spirit. And so we can talk about anything in that realm of the body, the mind, and or the spirit. The topic so far has been around time.
Oh, yes.
And I think that is a great segue into whatever it is that'll come through for this time together. Because, time is eternal. Like, it's forever. It's infinite. It never runs out. It's just a measurement from point A to point B. And when I think about my body in time, I'm like, well, my body's telling me something different. My body's not saying, hey, I'm eternal, right? My body is saying, like, I'm gonna die one day. Like,
Yes.
because it is. It's going to do that. My body will go back to the mother, to the earth, and then my spirit will go to wherever that is, the whatever that is, the source, maybe, who knows, maybe some purgatory, maybe some other planet, who knows. I don't care. I'm excited about it either way. But we've lived this life so far that I feel, for me anyway, and I'm curious about you all, like, I've not necessarily taken the best care of my body, and I've really helped it do the things like age. Just in the things that I've like done to it, the places that I've been, the places that I've put myself, the chemicals that I've breathed in, just like all of the things in my life. And so it was almost like my body clock was speeding up for a really long time. I was aging myself rapidly. And then something shifted when I started to take my own health into my own hands. When I started to love myself, nourish myself, stop doing the unhealthy patterns of drugs or alcohol or whatever unhealthy things I was doing in those years. And it was almost like I went through this transition. It was like my body was like, I'm dying. What? Stop. Hold on. Wait. You're not going to kill me anymore? You're not killing me anymore? What are you doing? What is this? Fruit and vegetables and sunlight and water, and you're not smoking cigarettes all day, every day? What is this? And it's almost as if my body clock would kind of go back in time because it starts to heal itself. Isn't that nuts?
That's what my therapist said. God, you're only 56. People are living into their 90s. I said, but I'm falling freaking apart. And she says, well, just work on it. Stretch. Maybe take a moment and stretch more often than you do.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Yeah. So stretching is going to be, is that kind of what would, if you added stretching into your life, is that something you feel like would kind of keep turning the clock back on your physical body?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially on the shoulders. I'm
Right.
trying to do the same thing for my legs.
Yes. What about you?
For me, well, aging, as you were saying, it's not too difficult as I thought it would. Okay. I've been exercising, socializing, and I realize it's important to do it every day if you can.
Mhm.
Some people does it 4 times a week. Some people does it, every day a week. But I try to do it every day a week. And it teaches me that regardless of what others is going through, I had to look at myself as who I about what I'm supposed to be doing each and every day. Because basically, I want to age the right way. I don't want to like age too fast or too slow. I want to age at a moderate pace, knowing my strength and weakness, and my pros and cons. And I want to strengthen some of my weakness. That's what my age as well. I feel like, I recognize that, it can be a good thing to do that too, but, I take more serious than others. I feel like, that, it's a purpose, it's a reason, still to this day. And I think that if I was to socialize with individuals that thinks more like me rather than within the box rather than out the box, that we can know what I can know more better about what is happening around me rather than thinking, assuming. People always assuming this and assuming that, but that's good for them to do. I'm not against that. They can't be against what I'm supposed to do. Regardless of the things that the change that we've been through. Because if you think more about it, the more change we will go through, and and it's just a continuous thing. I learned how to put my words together too. I learned how to put my words together a little bit better because I recognize the goods and the bad.
Yeah.
In a moment of time, I feel like you doing good. Some still you don't get the right outcome. Then you think, what was the purpose? Because you want the right outcome for what you done. That's part of aging. To know that still your purpose go mean something. But other people's purpose do. And so that's how I feel about it.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. So your path is exercising and socializing, and that's helping you not age too fast. And also, okay, got it. What about you?
I've been walking around my neighborhood. I walked like yesterday twice. I did used to do the stretches and lifting weights and stretches on my legs because I finished physical therapy on April 25th of 22 or 2022. And I finished occupational therapy February 23rd of 22. So I've gotten away from that, but I still try to walk, and then I also do the word find puzzles where I still circle the word. So cause I attended your class on YouTube. That's why I want to try to come in person so I can hear people later.
Yeah. Great.
So those are things that I've done, and I think I did apply to Social Security for disability, so I hope that I can hear from them soon. Because at this time I'm not working and I don't have a car, so I hope to eventually look for a job that would probably be part-time and remote since I don't have a car.
Yeah.
So,
I hold the vision of you having all of that.
thank you.
Yeah. I love that what's been mentioned for us to basically stop this aging process or keep the aging body from aging faster than it needs to, right? Because again, it's going to. It's going through its own cycle of life. And, like I said, many of us have done things to speed that aging up, and then we can pause it and then start to reverse it so that we can find a slower pace of aging. And I like that what you all shared was not just one thing. No one said, we just drink water. If we just drink water, we're going to age better. Like, yes, and, there's a really big social component to our aging. If the more socialized we are, like those who have friends, and it doesn't mean that we have to have a million friends by any stretch, but it's to be able to be in social situations, to connect with other humans, to see other people, to be heard. It actually stops the aging from happening so quickly. We start to become younger, more youthful, more vibrant. We start to liven up a bit, right? We can all feel that, right? Like in the times that maybe you've been at home, stuck at home, in the hospital, whatever, when you're like, I just need to see some people that I care about, or that care about me. It's magnificent for our aging process. And the word of the mental, apparently I need to do it. I'm like, the words, Like
You
the
guessed
the
the
mental the
word.
puzzles. Yes, thank you. That, like those mental puzzles, those mental games. The mental games that we can play, it keeps our mind alert. It keeps our mind youthful. It keeps our mind healthy. So it stops or it slows down the aging process of the mind. Because the last thing I want is to have a body that can like go run 20 miles and then my brain be like, I can't. Right? Like I don't want to I want to have my mind to be able to be as alert as possible. Right? And I don't want my mind to be alert as possible and my body be like, I can't move. Right? I want them to both be on the same page in the aging process as much as possible. Personally. Like I'm hoping that when all my systems shut down, that it's like, and stop. I don't want it to be like, there went the body. And then like 25 years later, it's like, there went the mind. I'd rather it happen at once. So for me, it's like, how can I keep my aging slow? How can I just keep my aging slow? And for me, and I'm curious what y'all think, something that helps me kind of age slower, be younger, is, I don't know, laughter, like being silly, playing, being in joy, like kind of like being my own inner child. And that, when I see people and they look and they act so young and so vibrant, it's not because they're grumble butts. They're usually happier people. Have you noticed that? Like there's this peace to them, there's this joy to them. When we look at like elders that are active and mobile and they have a good, like a social network, a friend group, they go outside, they're usually going to be in the garden maybe, or just outside, they go for walks. Like you'll notice these things about people that have a really healthy aged body, mind, and spirit, and they all kind of have these same attributes. Like none of them are like, oh, I hate life, I drink all day and I never go outside. No, that's not their story.
Association brings simulation, so you can hang around people. You want to be happy, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. My mom's on here, Mama Jane. She's like, yes, with a thumbs up. So what else can we do to like, I mean, and it's not like there's anything wrong with like looking aged, right? It's not like I need to look younger to be better, but I don't want, because there are many of us who've been aging on the inside and no one knows, right? So it's not like anything's bad with aging, and I just want to keep it slow. I want to keep as much of my vitality as possible. I want to keep as much vibrancy as I can. I want to keep as much life force energy like pumping through my veins until like the last breath. I want it to feel good and like I've been living these years, because a lot of the years I wasn't living necessarily to my fullest, whether it was because of an injury or an addiction or a dead end relationship or a dead end job or whatever it was, right? So I'm curious, what do you all think would be really awesome ways that you could slow your aging more than what you've already said?
Exercise, like she said, also just make it a habit. I mean, a good habit.
Uh-huh.
You feel good when you do it. So
yeah. What kind of exercise would you do?
Oh, I'm just a walker. I mean, I used to be a runner from ages 12 to 40, and then gout knees gave in. So
they were like, no, you're not doing that anymore. You're like, okay, fine. I won't do it anymore. Okay. So walking.
It helped during the military thing too. I mean, but after that happened, the knees said no more.
Yeah. So exercising by walking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So not just exercise, but like fresh air, sunshine.
Yeah, breathe it in.
Movement.
Just
Okay.
to see if there's any spraying like bugs in the air.
Right. So. Yeah. What's going on out there? Like chin up. Like what's happening?
Instead of looking down, look up.
Yeah. Awesome. What else? What else we got?
I like to listen to music.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Spotify on my phone, or there's Fire TV that I turn on if I'm eating lunch or dinner, and I can listen to music, or I can watch TV with if there's music in the background. I like to hear that too.
Yeah. I love that. Music is such a beautiful medicine to keep us like youthful and vibrant.
Mhm.
You know, it really is. I was with a woman during the last year or so of her life, and then I was there during her final breath. And what really would bring her so much just moments of like, ooh, I'm here and it's okay, was when I played music. I would turn some music on and I would ask her like, what was your favorite concert, you know, and whatever this, you know,
Where was you 10 years ago? That would have been a great idea.
right?
Because I experienced my parents also passing away
Yeah.
and didn't even think about that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, I'll talk more about this because it was very interesting. But I would play music and it was just something about her. She just like perked up. You know, she was still in the wheelchair. She still couldn't really form that many sentences, but I felt her entire energy just kind of like light up, you know, because that's what it does. It lights us up.
Sure.
And that lighting up is what keeps us young, right?
What-
Because the light is the life.
And what most people don't realize is when you're playing music, your mind doesn't know the words, but when the melodies hit you, your memory comes to life and you remember the words.
Exactly. It can either bring forth like good memories or it can create new ones, especially if we've never heard the music before. Like, I love, there was a song that I heard when I was in Costa Rica last time. And it was like right after dinner, we were all just like helping clean up, whatever, in this like kitchen common area. And someone put this song on. I had never heard it before, but my body started to move. And I was like, oh, I like this. And she started dancing. Next thing you know, a bunch of us are dancing around the kitchen. And so now when I hear that one song that I can't even tell you what it's called, actually I think it's called Earth Grooves. Anyway, I can't help but move to it and it lights up my spirit, but it also brings back, it had created a memory. You know, so being in an aged body where I can listen to new music and create new memories based on this new healthy version of myself, that's a whole other ball game, you know? But, you know, going back to what you said, because when we're transitioning out of the body into death or whatever,
Right.
the same things that I did with this woman, I feel helps us live a more vibrant life now, which helps us age easier, I guess. And something that I did, so she was in her house until pretty much the end, until like hospice for the last like 2 days. And we had to like move her from one room to another bedroom and whatever, and just kind of kept getting her closer to the bathroom and whatever. And so when we moved her into the final bedroom that she was in, it was like in a hospital bed, you know, that like reclines and lifts up. And the wall that she was looking at, so she could look outside the window. So
That's a good
awesome.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. And then in front of her was just like the big white closet doors. And I walked in there and I was like, like this is awful. This is boring. Like we've got to put something up there. So her grandchildren and I were like going through all of her things and found all of these old scarves. So they were like reds and blues and yellows and purple, just all these colorful scarves. And we hung them on the closet door. So now she could look at colors, just pretty colors, and found like her favorite painting and put that on the wall just so that she had something lovely to look at when she did open her eyes. And kind of applying that to us now. Like, do we look at beautiful things? Do we have art that we look at? Like, I noticed that they hung that up since last time I was here.
Send that one in there.
Oh, I didn't see that one yet.
They-
Okay, cool. And I was like, yes, you know, there's something about looking at colorful things that lights us up because we're not made to live in a reality where everything is gray or beige. That's just not nature. Nature doesn't do that, you know, but it's in the fashion of buildings where things are grays or beige or pretty plain. And that's not, nothing's wrong with that. My question is then, do we go outside and look at maybe some flowering trees, or do we color? Do we go to a museum and look at art? You know, do we actually allow ourselves, our eyes, to feast on beautiful things? Because that to me is a part of what can light us up and keep us youthful. Think about like what do you look at that's beautiful?
Outside life.
Yeah.
Or just the growth.
So you get it with
Mother Earth.
yeah, right on. What else? What else do you all look at that brings you that feeling of like, okay, I like this?
I live in a place where like my home was built in 1974, so what they're doing is they're taking the old siding off and putting on new siding. So I'm watching some kind of exterior
Restoration.
yeah. And then where I live, the building across from me was on fire in July of last year. So they've been slowly rebuilding like the second floor and the roof. So they eventually have to put a roof on and probably renovate the inside. So I've been watching things kind of be like new siding and a new second floor being built up.
Yeah, that's got to be just fascinating to watch. And every day,
Yeah.
how it would be maybe possibly at least a little different
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, there was a time of growth where they would move receptacles from the parking lot to just like more receptacles. But nothing has happened yet. And the people who didn't have their foam after the fire, I don't know how they're going to have to decide when to come back or how to renovate, because the home I built that I bought in 2020 was renovated before I bought it. So
Gotcha.
I don't know if they're gonna renovate the houses that were on fire.
Yeah. Fire. No fun.
No.
No fun. Smells bad.
Yeah.
Unless it's at a campsite or something like that, and it's great.
I know.
You know.
Yeah, the fires in Canada, you can smell some things in the
Still.
yeah, but I think it's better now because I live in an old neighborhood that's being renovated. I can smell like because we had rain yesterday, and you can smell the wood, being
Yeah. Awesome. Interesting. So it gives you something for your eyeballs to be feasting on. What about you all? What do you look at that brings you so much joy that
Well, for me, I would look at maybe colors. Say like that painting right there. Rather than it being abstract. I do see a picture that does says 1,000 words. It has a lot of meaning to it. That's what I mean.
yeah.
Colors has a lot of meaning to it, and it's not one particular. I have a favorite color, but to me that I don't express it. It's not obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I emphasize on that. I create. I makes it beautiful. It's nothing in this. It's nothing around me that is not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a
No
good
matter-
statement.
Huh?
That's a good
No,
statement.
thank you. No matter how hard that they try to hide. You see what I'm saying? But I catches it because like I was saying, I like age and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the beast. I like beauty too.
Yeah, right.
But it just to talk about it. I can put it in words. Beauty to me is just like you said, endless. It's not gonna stop,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how much you want to. But you just have to relate to it because it's for everybody. But a lot of people want more of it than others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I just know how much to take in. Really, and to me, it surprises me also. How it is. It shapes and forms. Okay, but That's just where I'm at on that.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, ma'am.
When I think about like, allowing ourselves to see things that feel good, just allowing ourselves or choosing to look for things that feel good to see. It's like when we had the grand opening experience ceremony event words, I don't know, the other week, and it was my first time here. And I walked up and I saw like the little seating area, like right out front, like right out that little door. And it was like flowers and all the different colors. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, oh my God, like my eyes were so pleased that I was seeing something new, seeing pretty colors, seeing some flowers, seeing somebody sitting on the bench. Like I was allowing myself to see something and enjoy what I was seeing. I think oftentimes we just glaze over and we choose to not even see things as, whoa, that's cool. That's an addition. That's so pretty. I like the colors on that. You know what I mean? To be able to stop at wherever we see flowers and just be like, yo, that's a really bright pink. There's nothing else in nature that color. Like how bright of a pink that is, or whatever, to be able to actually look at the sky and be like, yo, those clouds. I saw one on the way here today. It looked like a giant turtle. It was so neat. I was like, yo, it's a big turtle just for me, But to actually give ourselves those moments, it reminds me of when I was a kid, right? Where kids see magic in everything.
Mhm.
Whether they see
Something
beauty in it or not, whether they see beauty in it or not, they see magic in it. They see curiosity in it. Like, how did it do that? Ooh, is that for me? Can I eat it? Whatever. And for us to be able to allow and choose that, to choose to see things with those new eyes, literally gives us like a spiritual hit, and we get this like energetic boost, and then we start to look younger.
When you mentioned hospice before.
Uh-huh.
My dad was what you call really not spiritual in terms of going to church like the rest of my family went to church. So he had cancer. So when we got to hospice, I dealt with a nurse who was obviously spiritually inclined, and she would just come in and just tell me and my mom about my dad. I'm just saying, we look at her and says, so what are you talking about? She says, oh, my dad is off the charts in terms of positive Christianity or positive spiritual. And I just look at her and say, what is she talking about?
Right.
So, it was just a positive, instead of looking at it in terms of a death place to go,
Mhm.
she was just energizing our spirit towards my dad.
Yeah.
And she would say things like,
Whoa. It's okay.
trust me, I know when there's evil and not evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, that was another thing when me and my mom was looking at each other. Okay. So I just wanted to share that.
That's funny. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I think about, how can we pause the aging of ourselves and light us up in a way that we are living with more vitality and vibrancy. When we look at children and their behaviors and their patterns, those are ways. They go outside, they play, they have friends, they see magic in everything, And then my mom's like smelling flowers and her granddaughters, right? Like these are the things that'll light us up. And also the same things that support people's transition into death. It makes their transition even easier.
Of course.
Right? It's the same thing. It's still a life force energy that we can tap into and make our life feel better here and now. Whether we are young or we're transitioning, but we have this whole middle timeline of now. We have this whole middle chunk of life that we can choose to see things with, wow, I've never seen that before. Like I noticed that there were signs now on these doors that say like classroom, classes in session, and okay, cool. So I could have been like, yeah, whatever. There are signs on the door, but I'm looking, I'm like, man, who wrote those? because they look really good. I like the colors they chose. Like those are new. I like the little shape. Like I'm looking at them. I'm allowing myself to look at them. Whenever I do see flowers outside, I will always stop to smell them unless I'm driving. You know, because the thing about living with a vital life is that when we do transition, when we do peace out, when it's our time to be like, I'm out, I know that I'll at least have lived my fullest. You know, because I've lived a lot of life in the darkness. I've lived a lot of life in pain and suffering and addiction and all that crap. I've done all that. So I'd like to give myself ample time to live in light, to live in joy, to live in love and harmony, and to live in play, and to see what that can feel like in a safe adult body, and not just, well, I did it a little bit here and there as a kid, or I did it when I was really messed up. But like to be able to be like, nah, like I lived in some darkness and I lived in some light, and I lived in the light as a choice. And to me, that's where we really engage our senses and we become really present with how much of this life can we completely just soak up in every now moment. What, something else? How can we like kind of pause this like rapid aging and kind of come back to like, I don't have to age so fast. I can live a healthy life.
Less stress.
Uh-huh. Yes, I'll get back to that.
I would say for me, one of the things that I like still life. What I mean is like I can literally like go to the platform at the transit and just stand there and just look at the city, just one thing, and with all the movement, but I get this enjoyment and this peace and just looking at just one piece. Like say you're looking at a picture of the city, and I can look at it for hours. I'm like, hey, I wonder where that door goes. Maybe it goes to such and such. I wonder what's down this out, and just that single moment, or even with a person. You know what I mean? I think that's why I like photography, like still life. And I do the same thing with flowers. Like when I see a flower, I stop and I look at it. I look at every petal. I look at the ones that's wilting, the ones that's growing. I look at new buds. I look at the bees that's on it, and I don't know, it just brings me peace, is beauty.
Yeah,
Just the stillness and pausing.
exactly. And that kind of goes into what you said, which is about stress, and it's peace. You know, stress is going to age us faster than anything like that. But if I can feel peace, then I will start to become youthful looking and feeling again. You know, it heals us. Well, for us to experience peace, you know, because it's an internal job. You know, I am the only one that can feel peace. But sometimes I need things outside of myself to help that out. And so to me, it's like, well, what can I do for my body, my mind, and my spirit to cultivate that peace? Well, maybe it's pausing and just looking at something and let my imagination go with that. Like, I wonder how many flowers that bee's been on today. I wonder how many more flowers it gets to go to. Like, I don't even know, is it going to go to the hive now? Like, or whatever, if I'm looking at a painting with a door, and let my imagination go into like, if I could walk in that door, I wonder where it would go. Would it go into a tunnel underground? You know, would it go into a spacecraft? You know, like, and allow my imagination to take me to these places, because then it's using the imagination in the place of a word puzzle, because it's still activating the mind. If I did a word puzzle and was in my imagination space and kind of bounced back and forth between that, then I'm giving my mind a really, really big dose of a medicine, if you will, of like health. Because I've activated both hemispheres of the brain.
I think music makes everybody happy. Both
Totally.
hemispheres.
Yeah. And that's why, yeah, the music, you know, the getting outside, the playing. Like, most of us humans have lived a life where we have rapidly aged ourselves. And even many of us, like, I was a giant child. So I was always treated like an adult very early on. Like,
You was a giant child?
yeah.
Like big?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So people thought I was older very early. And so I was treated like I was a lot older very early. And so in that, I took on more adult responsibilities, adult choices, decision making, things like that, experiences that. And so then I would immediately, if everybody tells me you look old or older, when I look in the mirror, I'm going to see that because that's the only thing I've heard, right? So if nobody ever tells me that I look young or vibrant or alive, no matter what I see in the mirror, it's going to still be like, you look old. And then eventually I'm going to be like, damn, I look really old, So to release a lot of these stories about how we age and all of these things, but rather being able to look at ourselves and be like, I am so youthful. I am so healthy and vibrant. And then it starts to make us more curious, like, well, how am I going to treat myself if I'm actually youthful and vibrant? What if I'm not downhill on my age where I'm just like, well, I've made it this far and it's all downhill? Like, what if we replace that belief with, wow, wherever we are right now, that it's just going to coast or maybe just like pause and just kind of bounce around into the next version of myself or whatever. I don't know. But I feel that we're here to live a very vital, good feeling life. Our bodies will tell us differently some days. Our mind will tell us differently some days. Our emotions will tell us different some days. But the fact of the matter is that it's our birthright to feel good and joyful. Like it really is. It's our birthright. And if my body's been telling me something different or my mind's been telling me something different, then it takes this like higher voice in my head or my higher self voice or the voice of source or spirit or the cosmos or the mother earth or God or goddess or the wordless wonder to listen to that voice that says, you still deserve to feel good. And then me be like, yeah, you're right. Let me try on what that would look like. If I treated myself like I deserve to feel good, I'm not going to not go outside. I'm not going to not be social. I'm not going to not read books. I'm not going to not listen to music. I'm going to do the things that then feel good. And then I'm going to continue to be more vital. And then the more vital we are, the less likely we are to slip off of our path and go into like unhealthy patterns. One last thing that for me has been like a total game changer is breathing. Breathing, when we can be oxygenated, our mind is clearer, our nervous system is more calm, we're more peaceful on the inside. We are literally more vibrant. We glow, we emanate more light. We have the capacity to laugh more.
And kills bad things.
And it does kill bad things. Yeah, it's like it keeps our immune system healthy. And if my immune system's healthy, then my body is not under a stress. So when was the last time you all breathed?
Every day.
Yesterday.
Right? Like we think we breathe every day because, obviously our breath is breathing us, but it's conscious breathing. It's breathing with intention. Where we just do it. And we're like, I'm going to oxygenate myself because I'm a living being that will thrive if I do this. Oh, and it's free. Oh, and I can do it whenever I want. No one can tell me how or when. I literally get this free hit of life force energy that makes my body, mind, and spirit healthier. And yet, we don't do it. That's
We
some
probably do it,
silliness.
but other people don't.
Most of us don't. Most humans don't.
Right.
Unless someone is in like a breathwork practice where that's what they do and they're committed, it's their devotion, right? It's like if I'm committed to going for a walk every day. If I have a dog, I'm going to walk it every day, right? If I have a dog, I'm going to let it go outside and do its business every day. I need to do that with myself with breathing.
I had to go to biofeedback because they noticed that I wasn't breathing, not getting oxygen to my head. So years ago, I did biofeedback where they just sit me in this chair, and they put electrodes like right here to make sure I'm breathing and stuff. And it did help my anxiety level and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes I forget to breathe.
totally. Exactly. Thanks for sharing that. I want to get back to
Even though
that.
it's habit, you know.
Right?
I was gonna say something. I know going to do that. I was gonna say that that's one of the things that I practice. Have to catch myself on too, because there is a difference. I'm learning now. You know that just breathing out of nature, just because that's what our body does, but that's not the breathing that you're talking about. And it's now I practice and try to make sure that I make time to just breathe and actually pay attention and acknowledge my breath going in and coming out and releasing. And that's a whole different breathing
Mm-hmm.
that is, I mean, it just feels great.
Yeah. It really does. It feels good. It feels so good to be oxygenated. Who knew? It feels so good to think clearly. Who knew? It feels so good to let my nervous system calm down for a minute. Who knew? It feels good to not feel anxiety. Who knew? And yet we have all of this medicine within us and the ability to take some breaths, right? It legitimately, it cracks me up because when we breathe consciously, our brain can't think of much else. So even when we're like super stressed, like, how am I going to do this? What about this? If we just set a timer for however long, say a minute, 3 minutes, work up to 10 minutes, start small, work your way up, and you just focus on nothing but your inhales and your exhales. That's the only thing you hear. Everything else can be going on around you. It could be like total chaos, trains going by, sirens and shit. But if you're like, I'm just going to focus on the sound of my breath going in and out for this 1 minute, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, the brain can't think of anything else. So it's a deep form of a meditation also for the brain. So then when we come back to like, okay, my breath work is done. I did it. Yay. Not only am I going to feel good, but the likelihood of me having like answers, clarity, solutions, epiphanies increases dramatically. And when we do that, when we breathe, we literally kind of pause the aging process. Y'all want to do it?
Yes.
Y'all want to do some breathing? I want to set a timer so that I don't make anybody do it, including myself, for like 20 minutes later. They were just in there breathing. It was great. Okay, so let's see. Join us online, homies. Okay, so the breathing that we'll do is going to just be really slow and intentional. If my cueing doesn't align for your body, keep up at the pace that works for you. Don't let yourself get, oh God, I'm not doing it right. It's okay. The way you're doing it will be fine. Okay. My invitation, though, is to just focus on your inhales and your exhales. Between each inhale and exhale, there will be a slight pause so that it's not a fast in, out. It's a inhale, just a pause, and then an exhale, and then a pause. So it's almost like a pendulum swinging and just pausing before it comes back down. Okay. So we're just going to imagine like perhaps like a swing set in your mind. You're going to inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. Okay. That's all we're going to do. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Something that works really well is if you let your eyes focus on something that's not necessarily distracting. So maybe it's closing your eyes. It could be looking down at the table, the palms of your hands, the tip of your nose, the floor, something that's just not moving. Okay. So let's just all take a really big breath in together and just let it go. There we go. So we're just going to do this for a little while. You don't have to get too constricted about it. Okay? So I'm going to start cueing it, and you can either keep going in your pattern or join me in my cues. So breathing in, perhaps through the nose, and then you just pause, and then you exhale. You're going to breathe in, and you're going to exhale. The breath goes in, and the breath goes out. The breath goes in deep and full. The breath goes out full. The breath comes in deep and full. The breath goes out. Breathing in deep and wide, big breath. Big breath out all the way, shoulders relax. Breath comes in deep and full, life force energy. Exhaling this breath down and out, shoulders relax. Breath comes in, filling up with energy. Exhale the breath. Breathe in big and full. Breathe out big and easy. Breathe in big and full. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in big and full. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in big and full. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in big and full, only listening to your breath. Breathing out nice and easy. Breathing in big and full. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in big and full. Exhale nice and easy. Breathe in big and full. Breathe out nice and easy. Take another big full breath in. Suspend the breath at the top and just feel full and spacious. And exhale the breath out. And just let it go, let it relax, and come back to your regular breathing pattern. And just sit here for a moment without speaking and just feel your body. Notice the weight of your feet. Notice the weight of your hands. Notice the energy moving up and down your spine. And then just come back to the present moment. And just check in with yourself. How am I feeling?
We're good.
Right? Feeling pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think we did that? If you were to guess. You said 5 minutes.
Mhm.
You got 5. You got 5.
3.
You got 3. How long did that feel like to you?
2 minutes.
2. We did it for 3 minutes.
Cool.
How easy was that? Just literally 3 minutes out of the day to do nothing but breathe. No phones, no nothing, just stopping. And something that works really great, like when we do that, we can close our eyes. We could look at a piece of art to do it. But when we don't allow the eyes to go all over the place, it allows the nervous system to really calm down. That's where the medicine of the breath really kicks in. So if we're outside, we can do that. It's really great to do first thing in the morning because the oxygen is more in the mornings. So we could go outside first thing in the morning, pick a tree, pick a sky, pick a blade of grass, whatever you got, and just breathe for 3 minutes. Start your day off that way. And just do that for a week. See how you feel. Just try it. Worst case scenario is that you get more oxygenated and you don't feel different, but you look amazing. Worst case scenario is that people come up to you and they're like, oh my God, you look amazing. You look radiant. What are you doing? And you say, I'm just breathing. I'm not killing myself and I'm breathing. That's my story. I'm not trying to actively kill myself anymore and I'm breathing. It's great. Sobriety is awesome. just breathing. So can we try to do that for a week? Just every day, 3 minutes. Just stop whatever. Just stop and just breathe. And see if you notice a difference in your energy and your desire for the rest of the day to take better care of yourself, to have clearer thoughts, to go through that puzzle faster, to have more imagination, to have more energy, to take longer walks, to want to be more social, like whatever that is. Just notice where other things may change in that. Sound good? Easy peasy. Cool. All right. Fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for breathing with me. Thanks for getting younger with me. Thank y'all for being here.